Hey guys, welcome to this video and welcome to my channel. My name is Antariksha and this is a place for palette lovers. So if you love palettes, you are interested in swatches, reviews, comparisons, then please do consider subscribing to my channel if you like this video. Today's video is going to be on a new palette from Too Faced, and this is their holiday collection, the pumpkin spice palette, and I'm going to talk all about it, show you swatches, some looks. So if you guys are interested in this palette, then please do continue watching. Okay guys, so that time of the year is here again when we have a lot of new makeup releases, a lot of new holiday collections. So this year I did pick up the Too Faced pumpkin spice palette. This is part of the holiday collection. I did not pick up this holiday palette last year because I already have the Too Faced gingerbread spice palette, which was the holiday release 2 years back, and I really love this palette. It works so well for me. The color story is so good. So I found that the previous year's one was a little bit similar to that, so I didn't pick up, but this year I felt I should get it because the color story looked so pretty. This is how this palette looks like. This is the pumpkin spice one. And usually this holiday palettes which are released in this tin packaging are pretty good. I have the one from 3 years back as well, the chocolate gold palette. This was also so good. This was an all metallic palette. You may have seen this, and the quality of this one was amazing. Now the color story of this one, which I have picked up this year, is not super unique. It's quite close to the gingerbread spice one which I had picked up 2 years back. This is how the gingerbread spice one looks like, and this is how pumpkin spice looks like. Okay, now you can see it better. This is how both the palettes compare. Now if you want me to do a comparison of the palettes, then do let me know. I can do a different separate comparison video, but both of the color stories are a little bit similar. I would say this one is a tad bit more warm toned. If I look at it at first instance, this one seemed a little bit more warm toned than the previous one. This was a nice mix of neutral and warm. I also feel that this palette is a little bit more versatile than the pumpkin spice palette. The kind of looks which you can get are, I would say, a little bit more versatile. That is why this is one of my favorite palettes of all time. I really like it, and if you ask me, I really like this one better than the pumpkin spice, but I will tell you more about the comparison and why I think so in the video. So let's get started with the review. This is how the palette looks like, the pumpkin spice palette. The classic tin packaging as the other Too Faced palettes or the previous holiday releases. Really love this tin packaging, very sturdy, and it's very easy to travel with. It also has a small sized mirror here. The scent of this palette, it's not very pumpkin spicy, although some people might appreciate it because the scent isn't very strong in this palette. I don't smell any cinnamony pumpkin spicy smell. It's very subtle. You really have to dig your nose in the palette to get a whiff of it, but the scent in these palettes are a little bit stronger. At least in the gingerbread spice one and the chocolate bar palettes, the scent is a little bit more stronger. That's what my nose tells. Let me know what you feel if you have this palette. So this palette also has 18 shades as the previous gingerbread spice and the gingerbread extra spice. This is how all the shades look like in the palette. You will definitely get a close-up here. It's a really pretty palette, but I wouldn't say that this color story hasn't been done before. You have the gingerbread spice palette, of course. This has been done, similar vibe, warm toned purple, olive. These kind of colors work really well together. The ColourPop Good Sport palette is one of the first palettes I remember that they had done this kind of a color story. Even the Born to Run palette from Urban Decay also has a similar vibe. Even the Makeup Revolution palette from Sofix, yeah, the collaboration palette, it also has a similar vibe. So I will put on the screen here a bunch of palettes which have a similar vibe. So definitely this is not a very innovative, very new color story. This has been done before, but this is one of my favorite kind of color stories warm tones, purple, pinks, olive greens all together in one palette. So that way I really like the color story. But if you have other palettes, you may want to consider whether you want to get this palette or not. There are 18 shades in this palette, and out of the 18 shades there are 12 matte shades, and the rest of the 6 are shimmer or metallic finish shadows. Before I go ahead and tell you my thoughts on the palette, let me quickly show you the swatches, and then I will come back, share my thoughts, and show you a couple of looks I have done with this palette. Here is a close-up of the palette one more time. Here is a swatch of all the matte shades in the palette. So these are not one swipe swatches. I have definitely built up some of the colors, but for the most part all the colors are pigmented well. Here are the metallic shades of the palette. Okay guys, so those were the swatches of the shadows. Let me know what you think of the swatches. I forgot to show you the cardboard box earlier. It is really cute, and I don't know how I forgot to show it to you. I always keep this packaging of Too Faced palettes. They are really cute, and you also have all the shades behind. Each shadow in here is, let me find out. Why is it so difficult to find? How much is each shadow? Yes, it's here on the tin packaging. 18 eyeshadows with each net weight is 0.7 grams or 0.024 ounces. So you get less than 1 gram of product in each pan. That's interesting. How much was it in the gingerbread spice? Gingerbread spice was also the same. Okay, so that's interesting. In these palettes you don't even get 1 gram of product in each pan. Actually I don't think I have noticed that before. The palette retails for I think 65 to 67 Singapore dollars here, if I'm not wrong. I will have how much it costs in the description box also, because I clearly don't remember. So let's talk about the palette. I would say my experience with this palette is good, but I don't like it more than the gingerbread spice. This is still my favorite. The reason being that the gingerbread spice palette is a little bit more versatile, and the versatility of this palette comes from the metallic shades. The metallic shades are of different tones in this palette. You get some reds, purple, bronzy tones, olive, purples, plummy tones, golds. But in this palette, the tones of metallic shades which you get are purples and olives, and with a slight light pink shade which is thrown in right here, which is not exactly a metallic shade. It's a satiny shade which has a golden sort of a flip. So if you want to do more with the metallic shades, your eye looks are not going to look very different. One is a deeper purple, one is a lighter purple. I have shown you looks with this lighter one as well, and the deeper one I am wearing a little bit in this eye look too. And you have 2 olive green shades. So I feel like there could have been a couple more shades to give it a little bit more variety. There is a lighter pinky champagne shade. These kind of shades actually I don't use that much, so that's also why I feel that this palette lacks a lot in the metallics department. The quality wise, I think the shades are good. 2 of the shades, this one and this one, the lighter purple shade and this deeper olive green shade, they are a little bit chunky. You have to work at them a bit, smoothen out, and maybe use a Fix Plus or something like that, but they do smoothen out, but just you have to make a little bit more effort. Other than that, the other metallic shades is really pretty. This purple is pretty nice, this pink, and there is another pink. All of the metallic shades are kind of on the subtle side. They are not extremely metallic and too saturated with color. They are like a subtle olive, subtle purple shade. So this can be used very easily by someone who doesn't like to wear too many colors but would like to experiment or maybe have a subtle color on the eyes. So they are not very intense. I have seen much more intense metallic shades in this color shade range. Okay, so the metallic shades department is a little bit lacking in my opinion, because I love metallic shades and shimmers. You guys know that. So I won't be able to play too much around with metallic shades, but I have the chocolate gold palette which I can use with this palette definitely. Let's talk about the matte shades. I know a lot of people don't like metallics that much, they prefer mattes, and this palette has a lot of matte shades, and if you're close to my skin tone, all the matte shades work pretty well on my skin tone. All of them I will be able to use. Some of the shades may be a little bit subtle, but I don't think we can say that they don't work on my skin tone. All the shades will work on my skin tone. As far as the matte shades are concerned, I don't have major issues with any of the matte shades. I think the pigmentation is pretty good. The blendability is also good. They don't muddy into each other, and they blend well with the shadows, especially these warm tone shadows right here. They work really well. Two of the shadows I would say you need more build up is this olive green shade. It looks pretty intense in the pan. On my skin tone you have to build it up, and same goes for this one. This one also I feel like you have to build it up. It has a tendency to fade away a bit, so you have to have patience and build this color up slowly and blend, but it works pretty well. I have done the eye look where I will show you this shade as well. Other than that, I think this is a really nice brown highlight shade for my skin tone. All the other colors I think worked great. I don't think I have major complaints about any of the other matte shades. Buildability is good. It's a very everyday friendly palette as well. The colors are not scaringly intense. They are nicely pigmented, but if you don't want to build them up, they are not going to look very intense. So very everyday friendly palette. The eyeshadows stay on the lid for a very nice amount of time as well. This eyeshadow look I had done probably around 4.5 hours back, and this is how this looks like right now. So longevity wise also I don't think I have major issues. I will definitely recommend a primer with the palette. I feel like the mattes also will work a little bit better with primer, and with some of the shimmers I will definitely recommend some setting spray if you want to use. There is not much fallout with the palette. With the mattes also I didn't notice that much fallout. They can be a little bit dusty in the pan, but on the face I haven't noticed that kind of fallout. With some of the shimmers, the chunky ones, there could be a little bit of fallout, so just take care of that. I mean, it's not unmanageable fallout, it's pretty manageable. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on this palette. I do really like it. The shadows are really good. There are nice shades in here, lot of mattes to play with, so definitely it's a good palette if you want to get something for the holiday, or if you're considering the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette, you can definitely get it. But I would say that it's not a must-have. If you have similar palettes in your collection, it may not be a must-have. If you don't have this kind of a color story from before, then you can definitely consider it. But if you ask me honestly, I just love this previous one a little bit better. I find this more versatile. I just love the shades of this one a little bit better for my skin tone, so I still prefer this one. But this is also not a bad palette. You can definitely consider buying it. Okay, so now let me show you the looks which I have created with this palette so far. One look which is a very simple look which I had created in the video the other day, and this is the look which I'm talking about right now. And in this video I'm going to show you 2 more looks, and also this look, how I have created just a quick rundown on all the shades I have used for these looks. So let's go and see how I've created the looks. First of all, we'll do 2 quick eye looks. I'm going to show you how these colors look on the eyes, these colors and these greenish sort of tones. So I'll do 2 different looks on the eyes, and then we will do this, use all of these matte shades and create a little bit more elaborate look. So first of all, taking this purple shade, this deep purpley violet shade, this one I have shown you in the swatches. It is not very pigmented, although it looks really pigmented in the pan, but it's not as pigmented when you swatch it. And Too Faced shadows are actually meant to be like that. They don't want to scare you with the colors. They tend to keep it a little bit subtle for non-color lovers, so that everybody can use these kind of shades. So I'm not surprised that it's not as pigmented, but you can build up the color really well. But if you blend it too much, it has a tendency to fade away, and that's what's happening here. So you have to build up and make sure you're not blending it too much. So that's how that shade looks on my skin tone. I think I will take a little bit of that light pink shade in my transition as well. So these are what I'm showing you right now, very quick looks with this palette. I haven't applied any sort of primer today, just some concealer. So if you want more intensity, you have to build up the color. And to this eye look, we are going to apply this purple, this one right here. It's more of a lighter purple shade, and I'm just going to use my finger and apply that. So I'll apply towards the bottom part of the lid, and I'll take a brush. That's what I usually do if you follow my tutorials, and then I'll blend this upwards. Now this one may be a little bit difficult to blend because it's a little bit chunky on the texture side, little bit chunky. So purple shade again, which is called Spice of Life, and blend it inside. Okay, so that's the first simple kind of look which you can create with this palette. Next, let's try out these colors. This olive tone, I'll show you how it looks on my skin tone. So taking another smaller blending brush, it's called Detail Blending by Sigma, and this will go in the crease. So this color also you have to build up a little bit for it to show on my skin tone. So if you are close to my skin tone, you'll have to build up this olive color. Okay, this one may have gone a little bit patchy here, so I have to blend this out. Okay, now it's more blended. This is how this one looks on my skin tone. Then I will take this pumpkin spice shade, this one, which is that bright yellow. So I can see that both of these colors are pretty subtle on my skin tone, so you can wear them both on a pretty regular basis. Like if you want a little bit of color on the eyes and you're close to my skin tone, you can definitely wear this color as well. So that's the transition I'm going to have. I will add a little bit of brown later, but first applying this color right here. It's more of an intense metallic shade, and it's a little chunky again, like the previous shade which I applied, so that's why I'm applying this on this eyelid. So this is more chunkier than the purple shade I previously applied, so this will need a little bit more work. Taking a more stiffer brush and blending it. It's a little bit difficult to pick up this shade with a brush, so I'm going to focus the main metallic shade in the center of the lid, and the other part of the eyelid it's going to be more blended. And I will add a little bit of that brown shade, this deeper brown. It's called Cocoa Drizzle. Okay guys, so here are both the looks. I have applied a little bit of liner and mascara just to show you guys how they look. So here's the purple one and the olive green one. I think both looks are very wearable. The shadows are a little bit, especially the metallic ones, were a little bit difficult to work with initially, but if you work at it a bit, they do smooth out pretty nicely on the eyelids, and now they look very smooth. The green one is more chunkier than the purple one, but both have smoothed out pretty nicely and they're giving a very pretty shine. So this one is the purple side and this one is the green. Okay, so let's move on. We'll do another look. Okay, let's do another look, the look which I'm wearing in the video. So I'm going to use these matte shades. These matte shades actually blend really well on the eyes, and I'm going to use a little bit of this purple and this green which I didn't use before. So first of all, I will lay down this brown, warm brown shade, orangey brown I would say, ginger spice. So this is more as a transition color above the crease. And I'll also apply a little bit of this pumpkin spice shade, which is that yellow. So this is going to be a light wash of transition. I'm not going to build it up too much. So the yellow is going in the inner portion of the lid. For now, we're going to take this pink, deep pink shade, and this will go in the lid, outer lid, and also the crease a little bit. I'm not going to build up the color too much as well. We'll keep it little light. I don't want this look to be too intense. Now taking this shade, which is that warm berry brown sort of a color, burgundy brown. It's a brown shade. I'll just apply it in the outer V. So already we have used 4 colors. Okay, now I'm applying this color right here, this olivey metallic sheen. I forgot to show you, I already applied a little bit. So this will go on the lid, and then later I will blend it upwards. And to blend these 2 shadows, I'm going to use a little bit of this purple shimmer as well, purple metallic shade. So for that also I'm going to use my fingers. Green and purple, they go really well together. And now I'm just going to blend out the shadows a little bit. Just blending out the crease shade again. And I'll apply a little bit of this one, whipped cream, as a highlight color. Okay, so that's how I achieved this look. Okay guys, so that's it for this video. I hope this video was helpful and it helped you decide whether you want to get the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette or not. I bought it from Sephora Singapore. It's available here and it's available at a lot of other places as well. So if you get this palette, then do let me know how you are liking it. If you like this video, then please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're watching me for the first time, I really hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching today. I will see you again really soon in my next video. Bye.